Audubon 2456.
State of the Save is back with part 2 of Psychonauts. Got a great show as always. Once again, this is Eric with me, Michael. How you doing, Michael?
I'm good.
It's going to be a great show. It's another tired cast in a long list of tired casts. I feel like that's just State of the Save's MO. Really is just running off of caffeine and hopes and dreams. But it's going to be a good one. Psychonauts, if you did not have the opportunity to check out last episode of Psychonauts Part 1, we'll be finishing up Psychonauts today and announcing our next game, which is always fun. We're like professional wrestling. The moment we finish something, we're already teasing the next thing.
And just like professional wrestling, it's 2 hours of talking and not a lot of wrestling.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, like, that's WWE. That's sports entertainment. We kind of like WWE. Or you could consider us sports entertainment, I guess, or podcast entertainment.
Our TTW, our time to wrestling, is about 50 seconds.
Yes. You say this, but it's very accurate. It's just a lot of hyping up things, and then when they happen, they're like 10 minutes long. But yeah, stay the same. The train don't stop, man. We'll keep on the hype. The game's finished. We're on to the next one. We don't have time to sit around and bask in our success. But it's gonna be a great show as always. Let's jump into it, doing what we do best. Let's talk about some video games. Michael.
Yes.
Do you know about the video games?
I'm aware of video games.
You're aware of the video games? Good.
I mean, I should be. We've done, what 60 of these?
I realized that we've done a lot of these. We've spent a lot of hours talking into microphones. You'd think that we'd be more professional than we are, but, But no, video games.
That does not come with time. It just sort of...
If anyone who says that, like, what's the rule? Like 1,000 hours of doing something to become an expert?
Yeah, we're about 10th of the way there? I don't even know anymore.
I feel like we're probably more than a 10th, because some of these shows are like 3 hours long. No, like, I feel like one day we're just going to magically hit that episode, and it would just be the professional, like... We'll be the equivalent of, like, Brett Favre. That's a dated reference. Let's just use a quarterback that's actually, like, played in the past 10 years. We'll be the Tom Brady's of podcasting, and it'll just happen one episode. And they're like, that's the 10,000 hour mark.
We'll eventually be Bill Murray at the end of Groundhog Day, where we just know everything.
Yes, it'll just be like all of a sudden professionalism. We'll start wearing ties when we do the show. No, video games. Michael, have you played them?
I have played them.
Would you like to discuss?
I will discuss what games I've been playing. So I finally got around to Triangle Strategy.
Game you've been very, very excited for.
Yes.
For a very long time. You made us play the demo.
Yes, I did.
Back when that was released, and I was very confused because the demo started like 10 hours into that game.
Chapter 6.
Yeah. About
where I am now, right before where I am right now. About 7 hours in, specifically.
Are you enjoying this game?
Yes. It is. It has me hooked. And it took a little bit to get there, but I appreciate a game that takes the time to establish everything. Because the game takes place 30 years after a giant war called the Salt Iron War.
Okay.
Where it's basically feuding over, salt and iron, two major resources, because... one nation, you have Esfrost to the north, you have Hyzant to the east, and you have Glenbrook, your character Serenoa's kingdom, to the west. And there was, after the war, there was some territory changes, and then afterwards some treaties were signed, and then trade routes became in place to share the resources.
Okay.
So it's an alliance, but relatively kind of uneasy one.
It's an alliance of necessity, not choice.
Basically.
Because I imagine no one has all the resources that they need. So if I want salt, I need to get it from these guys. So I guess I'll keep on decent terms with them just so I can keep getting salt.
Yeah, we need to keep the peace to make sure we actually have resources and everything, which makes you wonder. I was like, is salt... I looked it up and was like, yeah, I guess salt is really that important. There were wars fought over this. I thought it was just is it for food? Is it for clean?
It's for preservation of food.
Oh, okay.
That's I know this is a fantasy game, but set in like a medieval time period. That's how you preserve like meats and stuff like that back then. So you would need the salt to. I mean, people they fought wars over coffee beans.
I guess that's true.
You know, so like slowly sips my coffee here.
I mean, I'd go to war for coffee. So.
Yeah, people have. I mean, tobacco, coffee, a lot of people die for that stuff. But
that makes sense. So
let it also be said, I think I've said this like a million times, but Salt Iron War would be a better name for this game.
A better name.
Project Strategy.
I understand because this is not the Salt Iron War. It's 30 years after. So basically, what is happening is there's a political shift happening where a bunch of the old guard is kind of stepping down and letting like the new take over. Like your father, who was the lord of House Wolfort, who's like the most powerful military organization within your kingdom, is like second hand to the king. So you play as a young lord who's rising up to become the head of this house.
Okay.
Because your father becomes ill and steps down and lets you in charge. And at the same time, your best friend, who's the prince, is about to... Days are coming soon where he'll have to probably step up and become king. He's taking a much more like leadership position.
The next generation, the generation that did not participate in the war, is starting to take over all the nations in this war.
Exactly.
So you all kind of that's like the time for political strife, because everybody's fathers who maybe came to, concord on things is, no longer around. So maybe a bunch of upstarts want to prove their mantle.
So it becomes an instance of when you take over, you have a choice to make a diplomatic journey to one country or another. And because one of the main features of this game is the choice system and sort of the war council. So you have all of the main cast gets a vote on every single decision in the game, and you don't. You listen to like your advisors, and you pick whichever one outweighs the other using the skills of conviction. Another thing that would have been a better name than Triangle Strategy.
I'm about to say, one of the biggest turnoffs on this game for me was the name, because it felt so clinical. So every time you label something like the scales of conviction, I'm like, boy, that's a good name.
It really
Maybe
is.
you should name your video game that instead of Project Strategy Triangle.
I mean, it works for Octopath Traveler, but at least that kind of you know what you're getting with there. There's 8 travelers. Okay.
To me, like, okay, if you were naming a book, you could name a book about 8 travelers, Octopath Travelers. But you wouldn't name a book like a political, medieval fantasy novel like Game of Thrones or something. You wouldn't name that Project Strategy Triangle. It just feels like a working title that somehow slipped through the documents.
It's a working title, and then you're like, okay, surely they'll think of something better. And then they took project off and went, we did it.
Triangle Strategy.
Anyway, I won't harp on the name anymore here, but so the first decision you have is to go to one of the other 2 kingdoms to like make just do the diplomatic rounds, see where everybody's at. You're the new lord. The prince is tagging along with you, even though he's supposed to be back at the kingdom. But he's like, I haven't been really outside. I want to kind of take this journey. So your first choice, kind of like a lighter one to set the tone. And you have, you also are in line to wed the sister of the Archduke to the Kingdom of the North.
Okay.
So there's like a royal wedding in there too. You meet together as you would in a romantic situation. She's attacked by bandits, and you two both join up together and fight some bandits off in a way that kind of like sets the mood and makes them go, hey, you're pretty cool. Yeah, this wedding seems to be all right.
The true way to woo women is to fight bandits in front of them.
Yeah.
This is why it's so hard to date nowadays. There's no bandits on the roads. It's really hard to impress women. You can't jump in and save them from bandits.
Don't you just hate that?
Yeah, it's just so
Chivalry's
hard.
dead.
Yes. Welcome to this podcast about why you... Never mind.
Anyway.
This joke, someone out there is not realizing this is a joke and typing, I'm glad someone has the courage to finally say the problems with modern dating. Okay, please continue.
So there's a lot of political setting being laid out for the first 3 hours of this game, 3 or 4 hours of this game, because it's all peacetime. And so when the moment of war does happen, you are aware of all of the political stakes going on. So it's necessary, I think, versus just throwing you in. Another option would be, like, do the Final Fantasy Tactics thing and throw you in the middle and then go back. Be like, this war is happening, and then go back to the beginning and kind of, like, set the stage of you fighting bandits and
That's
everything.
like that became so very popular in storytelling. And I know those, like, the memes and the jokes about it, but, like, it is an effective way of getting people involved in stories, but it's also, it does lessen the impact of when the big war happens.
Yeah.
Because you've already seen that obviously this one person has survived to a point. So, like, if the big war breaks out in, like, a big ambush or something, well, you know your main character lived because he talked in that chapter at the beginning of the game. You know, it's just, I feel like it's a risk to let people. You don't want people to fall off before you get to the big reveal, but it's worth it.
I think they did the right choice here. Whereas, like, again, this game takes a lot from Final Fantasy Tactics, especially, like, the combat and, like, the art style. This is very much like HD 2D is what they're calling it, with, like, 3D, like, polygonal environments with sprite-based characters. So, and this style very much works for this type of game, because it's very much calling back to, like, the PS1 Tactics games, like Tactics Ogre, and especially Final Fantasy Tactics, which makes me especially hopeful because this game is selling well. So and there's been rumors about, especially in the NVIDIA leak, about Final Fantasy Tactics getting remastered. So I'm hoping that these kind of align to where I get that, but this is kind of filling that niche too, because this is a really good game. My only qualm with it is some of the voice acting is a bit wonky and a bit stilted. But I wonder how much of it was done during, like, the COVID era, where they were, like, the early parts filming at home, because they did have a lot of the voice acting pegged down in early 2021, whenever the demo came out. So I wonder how much was, like, done at home, especially for the English voice actors doing a game out of Japan, versus, like, having to go to, like, a different studio and communicating that way. It feels like there was an additional layer to get past for direction and voice guidance, because some of the performances are really good, but you have some that just come off as, like, sort of monotone, or, like, I don't have a connection to what this line is supposed to be.
That's something that I didn't really learn until I forget what documentary or book I was reading, talking about, like, how often these things are done in, like, a bubble where you're just kind of stating lines without context. And, you know, without a good direction by the audio team and by the voice acting team, it can come across as I don't know what emotion to put behind this, because I'm just getting a bunch of, I think it was a Disney doc on, like, Frozen 2 or something. And they talk about how it's done a lot of times out of order. And so you have to have someone there to really get into your head and be like, hey, this is what the emotion to this line is. You know, this is what's happening. And if you're doing that across the sea in another country,
and not just
at
for
home,
and not just for a 2-hour movie, but for a 30-hour game where there's multiple decisions and
possible
branching
rewrites, like there's rewrites and stuff, and they might be doing an extra dialogue just to make sure they have stuff to play with. I wonder how much of that is just, I don't know what the context of this line is, so I'm going to be...
So yeah, I'm not faulting the voice actors at all, given especially the times we're in. It was probably an especially extraining circumstance. But if that's my only qualm with the game, and it's very minor, I'm having a great time. I cannot wait to see where this story goes, because it is feeling like that, like, Game of Thrones style, not void, but like that flavor almost, with a little bit of, like, Dune, with, like, the, like, multi-level environments and, like, the political factions and the backstabbings.
When you were talking about, like, your family being the military branch of this kingdom, I was thinking Dune, and how the the different houses, they're all subservient to the emperor, but they have different roles and different political kind of standings. So, like, is there Oscar Isaac in this game?
Not Oscar Isaac, sadly.
can't be a part of Oscar. Man, we got that Dune RTS coming, so maybe we can play as Oscar Isaac.
I
in
hope
that.
so. That guy's in everything, but I'm not mad about it.
He's generally pretty good in everything.
He has enthusiasm about whatever he's doing. Like, Moon Knight coming up, he was not even on the guy they were focusing the camera on. They were focusing on, like, another actor who was at this UFC event. Then Oscar Isaac is behind him, and he just shows his Moon Knight shirt.
He's promoting, man.
That is
Listen.
Free promotion. Just right there always.
Once again, if wrestling has taught us anything, promote all the time. No, we're probably going to do a Foul Corrupted with Moon Knight or do something with Moon Knight.
We're big fans of that, turns out.
You're like, Eric, Moon Knight's not a video game property.
Maybe he should be.
Well, he's in games.
Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2. There we go.
And we maybe like link it to the Halo show or something and do like a TV cast or something. I don't know. We're still fiddling around with this season's Foul Corrupted ideas. Other than Project Triangle Strategy, we'll not call it Triangle Strategy. It's forever Project Triangle Strategy because I feel like it's the most beta tested name. What else have you been playing?
They add a game to the Switch Online Nintendo 64 catalog that I spent a lot of time in.
What was it?
F-Zero X.
Oh, Jesus
which,
Christ.
After playing a few hours of it, also enter the cheat code in right away to unlock all the machines and all the tracks and the X Cup, which is getting off track here, but the X Cup is a GP mode where it is all randomized tracks. So you don't know what you're going to get. It's possible you can get a track that you're just going to, if you're going like over 100 kilometers an hour, you're going to fly off the edge, and all the computers are going to fly off the edge too. So you never know if you're actually going to finish the thing, but it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So F-Zero X, my favorite racing franchise. Talked about it several times on this show. Hashtag bring back F-Zero.
I think the entire reason we did this show was for you to try to get an F-Zero sequel or another game.
I'm still trying.
I feel like this entire purpose of this show, once you get that game, like the show would just disappear.
Peace, I'm out.
Like it would be like, what happened to State of the Save? Oh, they got that F-Zero game got released and Michael stopped caring. No, I'm glad that this is added. Do you still... I mean, I know you're a big fan of that game in particular. Is that worth getting the service to get the Nintendo 64 games?
$50 a year for that's tricky. I'm happy with paying way too much for that thing just to play more F-Zero, because this is, I'm going to make a bold claim here, probably the best aged game on the Nintendo 64, and I'll tell you why. They cut down the visuals to make it run at a 60 frames a second frame rate.
Okay.
So that game feels fast. It is very responsive. It moves very quick.
It's also got an art style that doesn't age bad. You know, we talked about like games that just like from the early PlayStation 2 era that had like, we talked about it with Time Splitters.
Yes.
Where like the art style lets that game age well.
Mm-hmm.
And Psychonauts, same thing with Psychonauts. But then we talked about like the early 360 when everybody was trying to do quote-unquote photorealistic and how it aged terribly. I feel like F-Zero's got an art style and a style that ages well.
The menus have a very like comic booky style, and so when you get into the races and the games, all of the vehicles themselves are very like hard, angular, but like have like a pop of color, so you can recognize each of the machines on the field because you're also racing 29 other racers at once. They're going just as fast as you, and it still does my favorite thing that GX does, where it will mark the racer who is right next to you on the leaderboard. So you can just, in the race, knock them off the curb, and then they're a non-factor.
Yeah.
So just have that target and just like that going back and forth. And the fact that you don't have to get first place in every race to win the tournament.
Because it's like best of the tournament.
It's best of...
Win some, get second place here, get third here.
It's best of 6, and you'll have like 3 racers that they kind of cheat a little bit, are always in like the top 3, but you can easily just knock one out, and then all of a sudden, and then if you like get knocked to the back, the whole playing field could change. The rival could change at like a moment's notice. So
it adds almost like a story to the races.
A little bit, like it was like, man, Black Shadow is like only 8 points behind me, which means I need to. If I get second place, he has to. And if he gets first place, I'll be okay. But if I'm third place and he's first place,
it makes
then
it
it'll be
more less about winning every race and more about beating the people you need to beat.
Exactly.
Which is interesting, and that's something that's like, to me, more interesting than just trying to win every race. Because then you have little stories that you make where it's like, that son of a bitch, he always beats me. Even when I get second, he always gets first. So if I'm in fifth, he's always fourth. He's always one step ahead of me. You know, you just feel like you have a little rivalries.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, that game's so good.
I'm glad that it's out and you enjoy it. I'm glad there's also a good port.
Now I just need. There is a couple of frame rate drops here and there, but like it's not that bad. As again, if you're playing on the Nintendo 64, it's over 30. So most games didn't even hit 30 on the Nintendo 64.
I mean that's still pretty smooth.
It's pretty good. It's not. You're never going to beat regular hardware or like a high scale emulator, which Nintendo should be able to outmatch, especially if they have a tendency to go out there and erase their own emulators from the internet with DMCA takedowns.
It's almost like the emulation community cares more about those games than maybe Nintendo does.
What heresy? How dare you?
Yeah, how dare I
make an accurate statement like that?
Didn't they get caught using an emulator at one point?
Yes.
So the fact that the
was that someone did?
No, that was them.
Yeah.
They used emulation in one of their releases of something, and it was
that
straight
they,
up
like,
emulator.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
not their own, like just
yeah.
It was like SNES 9X or something.
Yeah,
or something.
It was someone did some digging in the hardware. Which, I mean, you have to be stupid in the day and age we live in, where everybody tears apart every single video game the moment they get it, to not know that someone's going to figure out, like, hey, this is just that emulator that you probably sent a takedown notice to like 6 months ago. Anything else you've been playing?
No, but going off of your tearing games apart as soon as you get them, that's going to be the subject for our the framework for our next game.
Yeah. We'll have to, but we can't. We can't spoil
exactly.
it.
I know. I got to tease them so they get to the end. Yeah, exactly.
Gotta tease them. Just play with them a little bit. It's somewhere. Someone's like, dude, you know the game's in the description, right? I can just read. The true secret is that the game is always in the description.
Always check the time codes, or never check the time codes.
Check the time codes. All of a sudden, our drop off is like really bad. Like people are like, oh, we know what the next game is. No. I'll give an Elden Ring update. I am about 29 hours in Elden Ring right now.
Okay.
I have defeated the second demigod. I had a run randomly. I was banging my head against the wall, and then I had a run where I kicked Elden Ring's ass for like 4 hours. I had randomly sat down to play it. I think my wife went to bed early one night, and I was like, I got like an hour before I need to go to sleep.
You were motivated because I got up to the second demigod. I had a good run too, and you're like, I'm gonna get past Michael.
I was in the castle with the second demigod. Michael said he got to the second demigod, and I said, not today. And I beat the mini boss before the second demigod, and a boss right after that in about 3 hours. I was on a roll, but then the game has got me in another point now where I'm getting my ass kicked a lot.
That seems to be the ebb and flow.
Yes, I've decided to instead head around and beat little mini bosses and stuff like that. I want to say, hopefully we'll get Nick back on the show sometime, because Nick, I think, is almost completing that game.
If not, I think he may have finished it.
If he hasn't finished it, he is very, very close. Surprise, surprise, Elden Ring is still very, very, very good. It's still sitting high on my contender list already for Game of the Year, even with the stuff coming out.
Oh, no doubt. It's going to be a hard year.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to top that game.
Yeah.
It's a masterpiece. If there ever was a video game that's a masterpiece. I've talked several people into buying it, which is not like something that game needs. I mean, that game sold 12 million copies already.
It is, I think, on par with like a typical year for like some of the big games that come
it's
out.
like it's equivalent to like maybe not like a Call of Duty, but that tier.
Yeah.
It's a big release. They're having good for them.
Like the last big single player release about this time was like Red Dead Redemption 2, which is not an easy feat to even come close to.
Exactly. In other video games news, I've been playing Rainbow Six released a new mode with the new season. They just added straight up team deathmatch into Rainbow Six.
They never done that before?
Not usually. Usually team Rainbow Six's Siege is pretty solid on like the one death thing. This is just respawn heavy team deathmatch.
That seems to be a good way. Can you like switch operators?
You can switch operators and stuff, and you can pick any operator you want.
So this seems like a good time to like jump in and like test like play styles.
I thought so, but the problem is you don't get your equipment for each operator. So unless you're just testing out the guns, you don't really like the thing about Siege is that it's not about necessarily how fast you kill people, is how do you do reconnaissance, how do you get information, and how do you use the equipment in your possession.
How can you trap the opponent into a situation where you have the upper hand?
Exactly. And so playing the team deathmatch mode, I was like, this is actually not that fun. I wouldn't stick with it for that long if it wasn't for the fact that like it misses kind of the point to me of Siege. It's a fine little mode, but it was like it really hammered home to me how the key to Siege is not the physical act of just shooting people faster than they shoot me. It's the act of gaining intelligence, learning where the guy is in the room.
Of all the classic modes, I think Capture the Flag would be more suited for like a Siege style. Like tactically moving your way about a battlefield. And then you could use like those camera placements and everything too for your advantage. You'd be like, oh, he's down this hallway.
Be able to mark where the flag is, and you could come up with like a CG kind of reason, like make it like an intelligent case or a bomb you got to defuse or get away from the area. You could that's what Hostage was.
Oh, okay.
But the problem with Hostage was, it was a way that players trolled other players because like defensive players would just kill the hostage. Like, guys would just ruin the game for everybody and kill the hostage over and over again.
Good stuff.
Yeah, in the game in like 3 rounds because they just did it back to back to back. But also there was the frustrations of, like, on offense, a lot of the operators had abilities that, like, blow in walls. So, like, you would have idiots who would use fuse and use the little bombs that go through the walls, and they do it in the room with the hostage, and then be like, "Oh, do you know why I killed the hostage for?" It's like, dumbass, you threw grenades in there. Very, very frustrating when you were trying to like walk your way,
or throw grenades in the room above them, and they fall through the floor that you just shot.
There was like some moments where like they blow up the floor below them, or like you would drag the hostage away from the beginning of the room, and then like they would throw a grenade at that spot and blow them up when you were moving them and stuff. It's very frustrating. But that was pretty much.
Or did they take that mode out?
I think you have to do some digging to play it.
Gotcha.
I don't think it pops up in normal rotation. But yeah, it just kind of reminded me like that's how that game is not really for that. I did also finally start Time Splitters 2 legitimately.
Fun game.
Yeah, that's a damn good game. I plan on getting the WWE 2K22. I'm in house shopping mode right now, so
my condolences.
Yeah, I feel bad. It's rough. Life is hard buying houses in the year 2022. But when I get some settled down, my life back to normal, maybe I'll get that thing. Because apparently it's very good. Looks like they maybe actually made a good WWE game.
If nothing else, the characters' models don't seem wonky.
They're not nightmare fuel. Like, the characters actually look sort of like the human beings.
So I could just play GM mode and make my own matches and stuff.
Yeah!
That's the way I like to play those games anyway. Download some comics characters from the internet and have them fight each other.
See, I don't do that because I want to have matches with, like, I want to put together when I do the GM mode, I'm going to put together what I think would be a balanced show. Like I'm going to go do a mid-card match in the middle, start hot with a good match, big match in the hot. If I'm doing a title match, I'm going to make sure that's my main event. I'm planning this stuff out nice and very in depth, Michael. I gotta make sure that I'm teasing the viewers. I gotta show those numbers up.
I did that in Fire Pro, but with the most ridiculous scenarios. Like, all right, in Europe, Booster Gold is a jobber, but when I go to America, he's very popular, so he does the main events in America. But when he comes back to Europe, he loses every match he's put in.
Oh, I like the idea of like poor Booster being terrible in Europe. He just don't sell, brother. He don't sell. Nah, I do look forward to getting that. Apparently, it plays better. Like they did some stuff. I put way too many hours into 2K20.
So this one seems like a
I think I can justify playing this one. Like 2K20, like I never had a justification. They're like, "Why are you doing this to yourself?" It's like
they should give you a coupon, like $10 off.
They really should. They should be like, "Well, sorry. I didn't pay much for it. I think I bought it when it was like $20 or something.
So a month after release.
Yeah, I bought it when it was cheaper. I did not pay full price for 2K20. But I'm glad that apparently this one is actually decent. So I look forward to fiddling around with that thing. And that AEW game should come out eventually if Kenny Omega ever announces when the hell that thing's going to happen.
It's all in Kenny Omega's shoulders.
Who just had 2 shoulder replacements.
Oh no!
So the game's in disaster now. No, get well soon, Kenny. I want to see Kenny Omega back in the ring. He had like 5 surgeries back to back to back to back. It was insane. He had like literally both knees replaced, both shoulders, a hernia replaced. Like the guy was like literally put back together like the $6 million man.
That's very weird because usually pro wrestlers live very long and healthy lives.
Yeah, usually they're completely fine and nothing ever bad happens to them. Cue to that gif
Cue the
of
montage.
Cue to Big E recently getting his neck broke by belly to back.
I didn't hear about this.
Yeah, Big E got his neck broke. His
no.
career is probably over.
Oh, whoa!
Guy hit a belly to back suplex on the floor.
Tuck the chin.
No, he didn't get him up all the way. And Big E, as the name implies, is a big man. And I'm assuming that it was a miscommunication, and these things happen. He didn't do it on purpose, but it was nasty, and it snapped two vertebrae.
That's such a bummer.
He's not paralyzed or anything like that, but he does have a broken neck.
That might just be like hey, I need to not do this anymore.
He's a big boy. Somebody was speculating. I think Brian Alvarez on Wrestling Observer Live was saying that one of the reasons he thinks he probably got off as well as he did was that guy's a big fucking dude with a big neck, and there's a lot of muscle there that probably saved him. If you would have done it to like me or you, Michael, we probably would have like died. It would have broke our necks in like 14 places. But it's good. I do hope he gets better. He seems like a genuinely very good person. Yeah, so, other than that, lots of video games coming out that we're going to be talking about. But let's talk about the video game that we're here to talk about.
Let's do it.
And I ain't going to lie, I feel a little bit disappointed.
I'm not as strong in the disappointment camp as you are.
So let's get into it. Psychonauts. I want to say this before we get into Psychonauts. I'm going to sound like I hate this second part of this game. And I want to remind people how high I was on the first part. I really enjoyed the first part. The second part, other than starting very rough for me, hitting one of my pet peeves in video games, there's so much good stuff here that it felt like the game was getting in my way of enjoying it. And so I want people to know that a lot of the ideas and the concepts I really, really like. Mm-hmm. But the execution here was just mind-boggling to me. And it felt like padding in a game that's only about 8 hours.
I don't know how long to beat, so like 12 hours for this game. So I was preparing like 2 6-hour portions. But I finished this in about 9.
I think I beat it in about a little bit over 9 because I spent some time having to hunt down the stupid shards.
Yeah, so
let's get into it.
Yeah.
Setting the tone. We completed the first half of the game up to Lungfishopolis.
Very high on that last section.
I think probably the highest part of this game.
I might like one part slightly more, but we'll get into
There is some good stuff coming up, yeah. But that ends with us after helping the named Lungfishopolis.
Linda.
Also named Linda. We kind of liberated her from her mind control. She dumps us off on the asylum where the our friends' brains have been held, and also where we're hunting down Lily.
Yeah, because Lily was kidnapped by Dr. Lobato.
Yes.
And Coach Oleander, who we're tracking down to this location.
Coach Oleander is given some reason, like he's given some establishing. The Doctor is really kind of just thrown in. Do you ever really establish like what his deals is?
Not really. He's just made to be an evil caricature that you're just taking down.
And he gets no real like solid ending. Like he feels very like he feels like a portion of the script was removed. And like he's just not really given a reason why he's there.
We never go into his head at all.
No, we never really get much from him.
So we never really know what his like. Again, this being like a pretty silly game, we never get his like true motivations are. But even in this silly game, every character you go into is well rounded. They have a backstory. They have a tragedy which makes them the way they are, and we have to have them face that tragedy at the end for them to like break out of their kind of spell.
We're almost doing a version of mental health with everybody.
Pretty much, except Dr. Lobato.
He just doesn't get anything.
He's sniveling to be evil. He's like the doctor from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Yeah.
Like that same style of voice and everything.
It just
like,
feels like I feel like
menacing.
he's the weakest character and just kind of throwaway, and really feel like I kept thinking to myself, was there like a 2-hour portion of this game cut that explained what his deal was?
I mean, a lot can happen in a 5-year development
Yeah.
too. So maybe he was like a remnant left over from.
Maybe if we didn't do all these other stuff 4 different times, we could have had a section in which we dealt with him.
Exactly. Yeah.
Boy, is repetition a thing.
Yeah.
We talk about the rule of 3 a lot when we talk about games, where you fight a boss 3 times or you do 3 actions to complete something. This game gets into like rule of 6. There's multiple points I want to talk about, and it's so weird because the first half didn't do this.
Yeah. The second part suffers from sort of pacing issues, I would say.
Pacing, yeah.
Not knowing when to pull back and be like, hey, we need to speed this section, and also kind of not conveying new information to you well, to the point you're like, I got something new. I have no clue what to do with this.
Well, and also knowing when to... one of the things that Cliff Brzezinski, when he was talking about the designing of Guilds of War, and I know this
not a game I was expecting to bring up, but go on.
I read an interview with him one time, and he talked about that he constantly wanted in that game to be every little section be something different, and he constantly wanted to take it away before it was done being fun. So if there was a sequence when you're driving a tank, before you are done having fun, he's going to take it away from you. If there was a sequence when you're doing some horror stuff, he'll take it away from you before it's done being fun. Because then there's no moment in which it starts to become a chore. In this, there was multiple times where I did something that I was like, man, that was really enjoyable. And then it made me do it 3 more times. And it was just like, I enjoyed this the first time. I'm talking about in particular like with the Napoleon stuff, like that whole section, or with God knows the actresses, the screenplay, the play stage, stage play.
I want to say, going off of that the environments they put you in are some of the most creative I've ever seen done in a game.
Yeah, and some of the concepts are great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, the game has amazing... And I think that's what irritated me, was some of the concepts in the game, like the environments, and even some of the moments were amazing. But why did we do it so many? And let's kind of get into this as we talk about it.
Yeah.
Because I think it's better to explain it as we go.
I don't want to drop all my negativity up front because I think I end up more positive on this game than you did. I don't want to get bogged down all in one time about.
I think the game. I like this game.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it was at times. Okay, we talk about with games. We live in a world where especially games are coming out. Like I can name about 5 different games that I'm excited for in the next couple of months. From everything from a bigger release like like the Elden Ring that just came out, to like even smaller games. Like I like the Sniper Elite series for some real reason. I like those games, and there's the 5th one's coming out. I'm gonna shoot some Nazis. Like games like that I'll play. I'm excited for, but it competes with the other games, right? With this, it was just so much of like those times I was like, this is a chore. I'm not having fun this moment. But then when I would hit a high point, I'd be like, boy, like there's so much potential here. Why did we keep hitting the same notes? We'll talk about it as we go.
Okay.
Our first kind of person that we meet, and we're going to be basically throughout this entire game, we're just going from person to person to person, basically. It's like this last section.
It's like how in Mario 64 you jump through all the paintings. It's like the people are the embodiments of the levels themselves, which is a really neat concept.
Which is a concept that it did somewhat in the game's first half, where we would jump into Agent Sasha's head, or we would jump into Linda, the swamp monster's head.
Yeah.
But here,
those are like clearly defined moments versus you like in like an overworld scenario.
Yeah, but here we are clearly just doing this over and over and over again, going from one to the next to the next to the next. The first guy we meet is a security guard at the gate to the asylum, who is obviously talking some conspiracies. He's talking about the milkman.
The milkman has the key.
The milkman has the key, and if
his milk is delicious, and everyone wants it.
It's like, what kind of milkman is this? But he's okay. We got obviously we're going to jump into his head to figure out how we're going to get into the asylum.
You got to do that. You're hit with a warning.
You hit with a warning, and I did not heed the warning because I was like, well, because it said you're not leveled up high enough to go into this. But I was like level 28. And I was like, well, I can probably collect a bunch of those little, the little memories, and I can get to 30 pretty fast. And I was able to. What I did not have was the cobweb removing tool.
The cobweb duster, yeah.
I have not been collecting the little arrowhead things
because they're only available at the camp. But although they do show up in the Black Velvetopia level later on.
Where you can break stuff and get them. But at that point, you already have to have the cobweb thing, so it's a little bit too late.
And that's like, it's weird that they lock the last thing you need to get at the halfway point of this game.
It's very, okay.
And it's the most expensive thing that you can get in that entire shop. It's the one necessary item you need in that shop.
I'm going to mark here. This is in my notes. It says, "Here's where I bitch about having to collect shit." I'm gonna get it over with, and then I'm gonna leave it be. I hate, with a deep, deep passion, collecting things that are not interesting. I do not like it in games that I love. I like Alan Wake. I have never decided to collect all the thermoses. I like it in I like many video games that have collecting things. I generally avoid it unless the collecting of that item is interesting. Like a Control, where in Control you collect things, but they're all like in-word documents or photos or audio files. So when you find each and every one, it's interesting. Something you find is interesting.
Or like going back to like the style of game this is borrowing from, kind of like the Collectathons of the world, even though this game's not more of an adventure platformer. Like in Banjo-Kazooie, your progress is locked by getting the jiggies. But finding those jiggies is fun because that's like the core concept of the game. You saw puzzles to get them.
Yeah,
you
the
beat
whole
bosses
point of
to
it.
get them.
And there's things behind it to get to it. You have to beat this guy right here, this mini boss, or you have to do this jumping puzzle. In this, it doesn't have any of that. It's literally wander around and try to pick them up, break stuff to find them. And it's like, and the game hasn't taught me that it was absolutely necessary. I saw the cobwebs, and I was like, well, I'm imagining that that's like an upgrades, and there might be like
100% completion.
Yeah,
this thing, yeah.
But I don't care about the 100% completion, so I'm not going to worry about that. And so the fact that I got to halfway point before all of a sudden the game's like, you need that cobweb collector, and it's the most expensive thing in the shop. God forbid you accidentally bought other stuff with your arrowheads, because then you've been searching for even longer. So when I had to go back out of the milkman missions, go to the shop. I was like, oh, well, how much is it? It's 800. I have 100 of them by just walking around. Shit.
You messaged me and was like,
Yes.
how do I get this faster? I said, you gotta get the digging tool.
So I got the digging tool, which just makes you walk around and dig.
Listen to feel vibrations on your controller, or more so listen to them because when it's really loud, then you can tap Y as fast as possible.
Which is one of my least favorite mechanics in video games. If you've ever talked about how I had issues with damn Metal Gear with tapping buttons, I not got fast fingers, man. I got old man hands. I was so frustrated. I even looked up cheat codes, which I couldn't get to work on the Xbox Series X. But I was just trying to get the codes just to get enough shards to buy the damn thing. I was very frustrated. If I was not playing this for the show, it probably would have made me stop playing the game. And I know it sounds ridiculous. I think it took me maybe longer than 15. You said 15 minutes for
10,
you.
15 for me, yeah.
It took me a little bit longer, but it's just I don't play video games for things. If I actively hate something, I just don't do it.
I also took this time to walk around the campground and go to places I haven't been. I found another spot where Crueler was as a janitor.
Yeah,
which I haven't seen before. Yeah. So I spent that time also walking around the campground, just exploring a bit. But also it's the campground at night, which means there's a lot of more harder enemies around that will burn you in an instant, and you can't dodge those fire blasts from that stupid beaver thing.
Yeah.
So
which feels unnecessary. None of the kids are around then, so it's not like you can talk to the kids and stuff as you run around.
Yeah.
It was just very much a chore.
Because at this point you're locked out, so you haven't freed their brains yet to where...
Exactly.
Yeah.
I like I said, I'm not going to continue harping on this. We're going to move on.
We had to get that out of the way.
But it is a big deal to me, and I really felt disappointed by it. When we do get into the Milkman mission... This mission's design is great. I love it's paranoia, right? It's a crazy conspiracy theorist, which hits a little bit different in the year 2022. He was a lot cuter when this game came out, but now we're fuck. But it's a cool design. I like the concept of
all the newspapers on the wall.
The newspapers. I like the walking around the suburban town and the eyes popping out of all the windows and looking out the
security cameras with the little bush on top of it, just
yeah. And when you get things when you get the road sign and you walk through the road crew, it's I'm a member of the road crew, and the guy, the agent guy is welcome, fellow member of the road crew. And the whole concept of you're basically trying to acquire items to get yourself into different restricted areas by pretending to be something. It's a cool concept. As we're going to talk about throughout this whole game, it just goes on for 2 beats too long. Mm-hmm. I think it would have been better if they would have cut it down to get the road sign, get the flowers, get into the post office.
Yeah.
Because, getting the feather from the crow.
And then having to hold the feather while using your clairvoyance ability to view the crow's eyes so you can solve this puzzle to get the pot of flowers.
To get into the graveyard. It just... You know what it reminded me of? The second part reminds me heavily of an old LucasArts adventure game.
Yep.
It's a lot of that. It's not as... confusing as a Grim Fandango, but the logic is still kind of there.
I still had to look up a couple things in this section.
I kind of wandered around, but I also wandered around a bunch before I had to leave and then come back. So I had a little bit of an advantage there.
Gotcha.
But it was... Yeah, it feels like this second half leans heavily into adventure game territory. And it feels significantly more dated than the first half did.
Yeah, I agree with that.
This whole environment is great.
Oh, it looks great. And you have the little Girl Scouts walking around that know something, but they're not going to tell you what it is.
And Raz is great throughout this entire game. There's a great moment when he's talking to the Girl Scouts. He's like, what do you know? You know what goes well with cookies? Milk.
You're weird.
Yeah, the kid's you're just a weirdo. This all leads to kind of a non-startle of a bunch of confusing stuff for me. We discover that the Girl Scouts are running a secret operation against the agents and the assassins.
They are protectors of the Milkman.
Protectors of the Milkman, who's a godly creature that's in hype, is rising from the grave at one point. The trauma of this character is that he was a security guard who was fired from his job and came back and he burned the place
with
down.
Molotov cocktails.
I was a little bit.
Are we supposed to be sympathetic for
Yeah,
this
I'm like,
guy?
but the guy lost his job, so he came and committed arson. I was like, I don't quite get the message here. And this is something I'm going to get a little bit into as we go out throughout some of these. Some of the messages on these are a little bit convoluted. And we'll talk about that as we go.
There is the bit here, too, where you get the rifle, and you have to sneak past the... there's a sniper up on the roof. They have to, like, sneak past it.
It's basically a reference to a JFK assassination. If you think about it, because he's in the book depository.
Oh, God. That went over my head.
Yeah, it's a reference to JFK assassination. And I was like, really? We're doing a reference to the JFK? And, like, Raz has a gun, and they're like, oh, it's not a real gun, but guys get shot. It was like, it was a weird tone change.
Hope the other assassins won't think I'm not cool.
Yeah. I like Raz.
I like that bit, though.
But it was just so weird.
There were some bits of very dark humor thrown into this game at, like, points, which I don't mind. It kind of goes with the era, too.
Yeah, there was a thing for that time period where we did what was like looked like a children's game, but then we would take dark jokes and let things go dark places because it was more edgy, quote unquote. And some of that ages fine, some of it doesn't. I don't have a problem with it. It's just some of it just comes across weird.
The Girl Scout was the sniper, and she
blows herself up
with explosive cookies.
And it's like, okay, yeah.
The annoying bit here for me was getting into the house, where I didn't know I was supposed to have the invisibility ability.
Yeah,
I had to go back, so I was trying to blast her because she's very quick. So she'll open the door, and then as soon as she sees you, she'll like yell "creep" and then shut the door. You had to get past her. So I don't know how. I was like, do I blast her when the door's open? Do I try sneak around? Do I try to levitate over her? No, I had to leave, then get the levitation ability and come back.
You mean the invisibility?
Invisibility ability to come back. And even that took me a couple times to like get through the door.
Because you don't go in the first time. Like she opens it a little bit, and then she shuts it, and then opens it some more, and that's when you go. Mm-hmm. It's just like a weird timing thing that doesn't feel right. It feels like one step off. Like it's something that the game's going to run into a lot in this second half of just like, why did we not just let her open the door all the way the first time?
Yeah.
Why add the secondary problem of her, especially when you're trying to figure out what power you need to use? Why did you add an extra reason for me to believe that invisibility wasn't the right one? Because I kept running up at the first part and he wouldn't let me in.
Because you think it's going to be clairvoyance is what you need to do because you get in that level. It's always weird when you need something outside of the level to go get and then bring it in to finish that level. So
yeah, it feels very...
And then after this level, clairvoyance is not really used for the rest of the game. Which I'm glad because that power was... very hard to wrap my head around because sometimes I could pick up an object and use clairvoyance on, but there are times he's like, it's out of range or I can't use this.
When it works, it's cool. Like when you used it on the milkman, the security guard to like see all the...
The milkman is dead, splattered on the wall, and you're like, oh my god, this is actual conspiracy.
But also when you used it on the agent who comes out of the post office to get the code.
Yeah, that was
like those are cool. But yeah, it really becomes a useless power pretty quick into the rest of this game. The Girl Scouts are being led by an evil Girl Scout mother. There's a great line there where she says, "I'm gonna pluck out your eyes," and Raz goes, "That's why I wear the goggles." Raz is consistently
I love Raz.
Yeah, he's a great character.
All the characters are very well written and very funny, I would think. I don't think there's a character who's like a downside to this game, which is a testament to like the writing and just like the world design.
No, the main cast is great.
Absolutely.
That boss fight is fine.
I like it.
It's fine.
Using the clairvoyance ability to like kind of manipulate your way to get to her.
Yeah, because you use that basically because it's in the dark, so it's your way of tracking, get to her. The milkman rises, and this allows you to basically bring the milkman into the head of the brain of the security guard who lets you into the asylum. It's a little bit weird because he lets you in, but you don't really get closure on him until you're done with the entire asylum section.
It's setting up a domino to come back later.
Which is very Grim Fandango-ish.
Yeah.
If you, I remember playing through that whole section and thinking to myself, it is a Grim Fandango if there ever was a section in here that's Grim Fandango.
Mm-hmm.
As we explore the asylum, we start walking our way through. We come across the first of its patients, which is Gloria, who's a very creepy lady who, when we jump into her head, which is just how we're going to be interacting with this game going forward, we learn that she used to be an actress, a stage actress.
You try to grab her trophy in the real world, and she, freaks out.
Yes.
Apparently that's an object you need, and you'll need it later on.
Well, you're going to need it to get into the
observatory, yeah.
Very adventure gamey. Mm-hmm. Collect a bunch of items. I'm sorry, stepped on your foot there. So excited about this, I stepped on Michael. But it's very adventure gamey. That section is visually very interesting, but like a lot of these games sections, it just goes on way too long.
I thought this of the levels was probably one of the ones that was better paced. I didn't think this one overstayed its welcome too long.
Really?
In my opinion, yeah.
See, I feel like the Napoleon one was the one that was of the somewhat better.
Yeah.
But here, let's talk about it because I would like to know your opinions.
Okay.
I think there's some really good stuff here with...
all the story stuff in this level is great.
All the story stuff is great. How you learn about her history and her past through the play dramas.
It's tragic.
It's tragic, but it's given to you in little bursts. Mm-hmm. Tim Schafer was walking through some stuff with critics.
Sounds like it.
I don't want to put nothing in the man's mouth. And
I'm like, aren't all his games critically acclaimed?
It felt a little bit whiny. And I have no reason to believe the man's anything but a nice guy. I've read some interviews with him. He seems like a cool guy. But I always feel like, can criticism be unnecessarily cruel and misplaced? Yes. But it feels a little weird to dedicate a large portion of your art to taking shots at the critics, because it feels like you're giving them a lot of space in your head, if that makes any sense.
That's fair.
And I was like, there was some points where I was like, okay, Tim, I get it. And it's a lot of the classic artistic rebuttals to critics, that critics are just people who wish they could be artists. And it's like, well, that's true in some ways. Mm-hmm. There's some people who can't create, so they criticize. But then there's also legitimate criticism. And I was sitting there going, Tim Schafer has a long career of people liking his games. It feels weird that he's not Uwe Boll.
Uwe Boll,
Uwe Boll. He's not Uwe Boll, who's every
Fight
movie
me.
has been a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, and he wants to punch the critics.
He challenges them to boxing matches or something.
There was a former writer of EGM, Sean Baby. He was the guy who wrote the back catalog, the back article every month that was just talking shit. But it was apparently like a general jiu-jitsu guy, and he was trying to get into that part when Uwe Boll was challenging because he was gonna beat the shit out of him, and they wouldn't call him back. They're like, don't let that guy. That guy's legit. But it just felt a little weird. It felt very But Tim's walking through some stuff here.
I also don't know how much of that was just okay, we have a character who's an artist here, so we need her to overcome this. I don't know how much of it was taken from reality, and again, it's always that thing of you write what you know, ultimately, or write what you, sometimes what you believe comes out on the page too, and everything. So I don't know how much of this was that, or was it just what's her antagonist going to be? It's going to be a critic, and let's make it the most over the top,
stereotypical critic that you could possibly get.
So, yeah.
No, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of really good stuff here. I like the section in which you're calling for the play to restart as you try to figure out how to line the play up, basically.
Yeah, so you have to figure out, basically, you have to give the stage manager a script, and then as they perform the script, you need to make sure they're on the right set and the right mood.
Exactly.
To match what's going on. And sometimes you'll play like a happy version of the scene when it's supposed to be sad, but you'll also get, it's worth seeing those through because you'll get additional pieces of information about Gloria's backstory.
When you fail, you don't fail because you get something out of it. You learn a little bit more details.
Exactly.
Which is really cool. I do like that. And it makes figuring it out more enjoyable because you're not just getting, oh, that doesn't work. Try again. You're getting something for it.
Like, I wanted to see everything because I wanted to know more about Gloria because she was very much intriguing. So you get her safe early on, and you find out that she was shipped away to a girls' theater academy.
Yeah.
Where she was treated absolutely horribly and abused, and her family never wrote her, and that you eventually learn throughout this whole thing that her mom was jealous of her fame and eventually killed herself because of it. Yeah. It's the darkest story in this whole game.
Yeah, and it's the way it's told is so affecting.
It works because it's not, the jokes in this chapter are not pointed at Gloria's trauma. They're pointed at the critic, which I think is why this critic stuff is so like
over the top,
because it needs to be, because the humor in this game being very much like direct and like punchy in a way. You need a punching bag here. You don't want to punch the person who's dealing with this type of trauma.
Yeah. And I will say this, the game deals a lot with trauma, and it never feels like it's mocking the people that are experiencing trauma.
No.
I really want to give it some really good props there. It's a game that has a lot of humor, but never mocks the trauma. It mocks everything around the game, those missions. It has funny scenarios, but it never makes fun of people's trauma or what they're going through.
The humor in this chapter especially comes from like the ridiculousness of the situation. Like, we're having to do a play of like these like, and these child actors are doing like this really like adult story.
Well, or like the scene where like you hit the air balloon. It's not here. Well, figure it out. Don't make me come down there and kick your ass. But, it's the moments like that are funny, not the trauma. No one makes fun of the trauma.
Exactly.
And I appreciate that, and I think that's why. And it's like even in the last game, well, in the last mission with the milkman stuff, they're not making fun of this guy being a paranoid psychopath.
Yeah.
I say that because he's, I say that it comes across kind of cruel, but they don't, because that one's the only one that kind of sits out weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's like, are we supposed to feel bad for the guy who went back and barned down his job? It just feels weird. But like they make jokes like the Raz thing where she's like, "Oh, pull out your eyes," and he's like, "That's why I got the goggles." They don't take shots at people's trauma, and it's very well written in that. I want to give them big ups.
Absolutely,
it's
a
very good job. There was a cool moment here with the Phantom of the Opera kind of theme, where the critic is behind being the Phantom, trying to sabotage the play. And it's very Scooby-Doo-ish. And I was sitting there, I was like, I like this.
You ultimately have to do the play in the right combination in order to get the balloon to go up to the Raptors so you can find the Phantom. So you chase him down, do a platforming section, which is fun, doesn't overstay its welcome. It's the main platforming bit of this section. Not a lot to say about it. But then you chase the Phantom down back to the critics Eagle's Nest type deal.
Kind of like what the two old guys are in the Muppets.
The Muppets,
yeah.
And there is a funny bit. It's like, oh yeah, you're not the Phantom. That guy was much thinner and much more handsome.
Well, because you see him go into the box, and you know it's him. And the Raz is like, yeah, you can't be him. That guy's too cool. And the guy's like, of course I'm the Phantom. Once again, Raz is a great character. I love Raz. Like he's just solid.
He shines throughout the back half of this game, and I believe the last section especially. Raz, anytime Raz is interacting with a character, it is when this game is the best.
Exactly. He is so strongly written and such a. He's really fun. He's just a really fun character. If we do like best character of the year,
Raz,
I think
for
Raz
sure
is going to be in the running.
And it reminds me of why I love Manny so much as a character too.
Yes.
Very different characters, but just like their relatability in like the most insane scenarios is what makes them like great characters. They're not audience surrogates. They're their own, which is not necessarily. I'm not dissing like audience surrogate characters, especially, but they're very, very strong characters in there.
I'm not going to diss audience surrogate characters, or surrogate characters, but I will say that it's harder to write a very original, standing on their own character, because then I always applaud
because they
games,
need to stand on their own, but the player needs to be able to connect with them.
Yeah, and I feel like Raz is a great example of a character that I connected with him great. I thought he was the best child character I've ever played. I've played in video games in a long time, because usually kids in games are terrible.
Yeah.
But here he's a kid who feels like a kid. He acts like a kid, but he's funny. He's very clever. I think Raz is a great character.
He has his own backstory that you're working your way through, which makes him like compelling and interesting.
You want to learn more about him. Good boss fight with the critic. I thought it was fine.
It's fun.
Yeah. You feel kind of good when once again you don't get the complete satisfaction of the ending here, because it's setting up for that domino moment. So you're kind of helping people, and then you're going to get the final kind of like conclusion to all of it at the end.
I say, besides like the milkman, I think they all kind of have like their moment here at the end, which is really good endings to like their levels and like their stories in particular. Like here at the beginning, we're trying to get Bonita Soleil to sing, but she doesn't want to because she's being chastised by the critic and the Phantom. Like, there's even a funny bit where you go back there and you hear crying, but I was like, oh no, that's just my player. I play this to help me focus, which was a fun bit. But her shining her light at the end is like showing that you're returning the confidence of acting back into Gloria, where she's not afraid, because she's kept that dormant so long. The Phantom being like I believe like an interpretation of the trauma or the guilt of her success bringing about the death of her mother. I think this is her way of like, her shine the light is her bringing that back, and that she's not afraid to do that anymore. Realizing
it's okay to be good at this, and it's okay to be proud of yourself.
It's not her fault.
Not her fault. No, I agree. I just think that final like domino effect at the end really sells everybody's ending.
It's like a good like epilogue to their stories.
Exactly. Yeah. After completing that, we get the trophy, which is, like I said, we're collecting items to get us through the next section. Next section is we come across 3 different characters. We come across a gentleman who is blocking the entry into the
observatory,
which is our main goal. And he is basically he's got like a bad eyesight, but he is like the guard. He's like the dentist / doctor's, heavy, I guess. He's keeping anybody away from the
An
doctor.
orderly, yeah.
Orderly, yeah. He's orderly, yeah, exactly. We meet Fred, who is believing he is Napoleon Bonaparte.
But also going back and forth of, I am Napoleon. No, you're not. You're not worthy of the title. Which is a great, like...
He's got like a split personality thing going on. But yeah, he's like Napoleon and Fred fighting among themselves. And then we meet our next guy. What's this guy's name? Edgar, who is an artist.
Edgar, yeah.
That's been chained down, and he's being told he has to make a portrait of the doctor. And he's
He kind of has a moment of realization before you even go in his mind at this point, because he paints over and is like, I'm going to paint what I want, and it's like the bull that you're going to have to deal with in that level. But
we'll jump into that though, because our first person I visited was Edgar. I think you have to visit Edgar.
No,
first.
I went to Waterloo World first.
Oh, really? I did Edgar first. Okay,
let's talk Edgar. I want to say up front, this is my favorite level.
Beautifully designed.
I love the style of this level.
Oh, I love the art style. I like the concepts here a lot. Mm-hmm. This is really, really good. So the idea is Edgar is an artist. When we jump into his head, he is trying to build a house of cards to reach a woman that's in the sky, basically. But he's 4 cards short.
And every time he builds it up, it's knocked down
by a bull.
El Odio.
Yes, a bull who comes and knocks it down. And it's kind of got like a fable quality to it. With like, that's something you would see in like a fable.
It feels like a story. Like
exactly.
The velvety, like, painted aesthetic of this whole level is like...
It feels like a
story,
Like I said, to me, it reminds me of a fable a lot. And the concept reminds me of a fable of a man trying to build a tower to the sky to reach a...
It feels grand.
Yeah,
more so than any other level. And that's one... all these reasons are why this level is my absolute favorite in this game.
The level basically breaks down into us having to acquire paintings to be able to jump into those paintings, to wrestle luchadors for the 4 cards, to give them to Edgar so he can build the tower.
And when I played this, I'm like, this is going to be Eric's favorite bit whenever the wrestlers come out.
I love the luchador stuff. I was a little confused because the level is primarily set in what looks to be Spain, but luchador culture is particularly Mexican. So I was kind of a little confused by that. I wrote at one point, they do know that these are 2 different places. Luchador culture is not from Spain, but the running of the bull, the art style, the aesthetic.
It's a mix of cultures in a way that you kind of just have to, like...
I just kind of went like...
I don't want to say shrug off, but, like, if you want to nitpick, you'll be here all day.
Yeah, I didn't want to be too nitpicky, but at one point I did write, though, like, they do know that luchadors are Mexican culture more than, like, Spain.
Yeah.
They both speak Spanish, but it's 2 different kinds of Spanish people. But I really love the aesthetic here. The dodging of the bull as you are negotiating the environment. It's really cool because it's almost like a running of the bulls.
Yeah.
Kind of. Running of the bulls kind of thing going on. Sorry about the pause there. We had a weird noise here at the studio. It's like a running of the bulls kind of thing where you kind of like dodge into the street, get across the street real quick, and the bull flies by you, you know?
Yeah.
It's cool. It's really well done.
There's, you have to use paintings as, like, puzzle pieces to, like, change the environment. Like, there's a bit where you'll have to even figure out, is a vine what I want here, or is it like a ladder what I want here to get to where I'm going? And it'll like emerge on the wall, or you'll put like a door and it'll open up like more of the alleyway to get through.
It's really
to the next section.
It's the best designed section, I think, too, because it's very, very good. I really enjoyed this.
It's a linear path that you have to figure out a way through. Like, get past the bull, find a way up a ledge so you can, like, levitate or bounce or, like, jump from rail to rail to get to...
do a swinging thing.
Swing. That's the word I was looking for. To get to where you need to go. And to find the 4 queens of hearts so that he can finish his tower and reach the girl of his dreams.
And for each card, you have to fight a luchador.
And I like his story here, and how it connects to the level itself.
Because we eventually will meet a bullfighter,
mm-hmm.
who is very vain, very he won't fight the bull. He wants to fight him in front of a big arena, and we have to at one point get one of the artisans. We use one of our new powers, which is like a confusion gas grenade thing, to confuse the bull, so we can paint the promotional photo posters for the bullfighter. Did you do? This stuff is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
we kind of learn, though, we're kind of piecing together, because when we do get the backstory here, that Edgar was like a wrestler, like a high school wrestler, like not like professional wrestling, but like I guess what is it, collegiate wrestling?
Yeah.
Or amateur wrestling. He was a wrestler. He was in love with a girl who ditched him for a guy on the cheer squad, and it broke
during his wrestling match,
which
as
caused
captain,
him to lose.
Which made him lose the respect of his team and absolutely crushed him and haunted him for years after the fact.
And so if you put two and two together, the woman in the sky is the Gar. The bullfighter is the guy she left him for. And then we come to realize that the bull is Edgar. And that
was a good twist.
It was a great twist. It's one of my favorite kind of endings, or wrapping up the traumas here.
So we got to fight also. The 4 sections is fighting the members of his old wrestling team.
Exactly.
Who were let down by him for losing that championship match to the point where they hold personal grudges against him.
This is one of the few times that the repeating faction stuff makes sense, because it plays into the trauma of you're fighting each one of your team members. And it leads up to a realization that the bull is not like someone else. It's Edgar. Edgar is the bull. And it leads up to when you finally have the confrontation with the bullfighter. First you have to deal with the bull. And then you have to deal with the bullfighter.
This might be my favorite boss fight in the game, too.
Yeah, it's great, because you're picking up the spears.
You're using the levitation and aiming it to throw the spears at him to, slow him down. And then you realize that, wait a minute, I'm not fighting the correct person.
Exactly. We really should be fighting the bullfighter, not Edgar. And I really like also, like, before, everyone is like, the Gar, I forget her name. I don't know if she
I don't think I wrote it down.
But the Gar that Edgar lost, she's like, she speaks very beautifully, and like this, that, and the other. And then when you actually beat the bullfighter, they both talk like college, like
high school
cheerleaders and stuff.
Like, oh my god, I can't believe you lost.
Yeah, I can't believe you lost. And then she tries to come back onto Edgar after realizing that the guy lost. But it's all about teaching Edgar not to let these people hold power over him his entire life, and to also realize how pathetic they kind of are. Like, that's the big moment. It's when she tries to come back onto Edgar, and he's just like, I can't believe I gave you this much control over me. Like, I can't believe I let this incident that happened in my life dominate my entire life. How pathetic are you? Yeah, I deserve better. In treating himself with enough respect to realize he deserved better than that.
He earned. This was a battle to earn his self-respect.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It was a really good twist, and it worked out well. I think this is my favorite of these group of mind-entering sections. Now that I think about it, going back to it, it's pretty damn good.
I don't know if it tops Lungfishopolis for you. I think it does for me, but personally.
It's up there. The more we talk about it, the more I think about how the positive. It's my favorite part of this section of the game.
I love this level.
And it makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Also, bullfighting is a horrible tradition. It's very brutal. My father was in Spain and he saw a bull fight and he did not enjoy it.
That sounds amazing. Oh, he did not enjoy it.
He did not enjoy it. Yeah, because it's bloody.
I bet it's like, I'm gonna see a bullfight. Oh no.
Well, the bull doesn't die in like one spear. Like, it's a repeated beating down of the bull. Like, they spear the bull 10 times.
Oh, okay.
It's not.
That sounds like something you would want to do, and then as soon as you do it, you're like, oh no, this is actually.
I've always wanted. My dad went to Spain, and I've always wanted to go to Spain. And a part of me wants to do the running with the bulls.
Of course you would.
I would. But here's the thing. I think I would do the beginning of it, do the first 10 feet, and then bail. But just so
I've done it.
Just so I could say I could wear my white shirt with my red bandana, and I could walk around afterwards, and let everybody know I ran with the bulls. But I only run maybe 20 feet. I would panic. I don't want the boys anywhere near me. I think I could do it. I'm a pretty fast dude. I can climb like a motherfucker. But if I ever get a chance to go before I get too old, I would like to maybe try to run with the bulls.
If we ever get big enough to where we start a Patreon, that'll be like our highest goal. We'll send Eric to Spain and have him do the running of the bulls.
I've always, like I said, I've wanted to go to Spain. My dad went, and he got to go there, and I've never got to go there. But I would love to run with the bulls. Like I said, I ain't running the whole way. And the bulls ain't getting close, But I want to just be able to walk around afterwards and be a poser. And wear my, like, I want all ladies to walk by and be like, that guy right there, he ran with the bulls. Like, yes, I did. Yes, ladies, I did run with the bulls. My wife would know. She'd be like, you bailed like after 10 feet. But like everyone else, be like,
She'd just be glaring you down the whole time. I know.
I would like to do it, though. I would like to run. Maybe if we ever get big enough, we can get a Patreon. That would be the end goal. Send Eric to Spain, let him run with the bulls.
So yeah, trauma.
But no, this is a beautiful section. I love this section so much. Good for you to end on this section here compared to me who went to the Waterloo last.
That might be why I'm more high on this game overall. I don't know. Waterloo's not bad.
No, we go to Fred, and Fred, it's a great setup because Fred is a descendant of Napoleon. He is, but he's fighting with the fact that he doesn't feel like he lives up to the legacy of his family.
And literally, Napoleon's there playing a game, and he's losing constantly.
He's losing at risk.
Yeah. Well,
a game set during the Napoleonic Wars. The wars in they call it Waterloo in there, but but I love Napoleon as a character. He is a little bit the stereotypical short little dude swinging the sword around constantly.
Oh, you have nothing.
But I really enjoy the fight between Fred and Napoleon. I like the environment of navigating on what looks like a risk board.
Yeah. Someone who plays a lot of Settlers of Catan, that made me happy. Seeing the hexagonal squares and everything. This is so fun.
There's good stuff here. It makes you go and do things repeatedly that I kind of wish it didn't. You recruit the peasants multiple times, but then there's good payoffs every once in a while. Like when you recruit the peasant that you need to get a gun for, and you think it's because he's going to go fight for the Fred, and then he's like, good, I can finally break into that carpenter's house I've been trying to get. And you're like, no, you're supposed to go fight Napoleon. He's like, I guess I can do that for a second. Give me a sec.
Bye. I'm off to die in battle for some incompetent leader who doesn't know my name. I hope you marry well after I'm killed. What's my favorite line? Maybe in this entire game.
Well, and every time they're like, okay, I guess I'll go die now. And Raz is like, no, maybe we can win.
And then they die every time.
But then they're also like, no, we're fighting for Fred. Like, let's not be crazy. No, it's very enjoyable. I really like some of this section.
So the concept here is you going around getting the people to join Fred's cause so they become game pieces. And then you manipulate the game pieces around the board to accomplish tasks. Like, a bridge will be out, so you have to move the carpenter space. But if there's a soldier blocking the bridge, you'll need to get a soldier piece to manipulate to kill the soldier and himself in the process, and then build the bridge. There's a lot of good lines here. One of my favorites here is the first bridge destroyed. The soldier in a French accent will say, "Suck on that bridge."
Yeah, all of Napoleon's soldiers hate bridges.
Is that like you're the historical guy? Is that a reference to something that I don't know about?
Not that I can think of. My knowledge on the wars of Napoleon is a little bit shaky. I know about Waterloo, but I don't know much about... I know that being in the French army sucked. Like, you starved and froze yourself to death because you invaded Russia in winter. That's always smart.
Historically, always a good move.
Yeah, always invade Russia in winter. Worked out well for the Nazis, worked out well for Napoleon. Speaking of which, if you'd like to support Ukraine, please
support Ukraine.
Yes.
All of our Ukraine listeners, we hope you're safe.
We actually have some Ukrainian listeners, and we do wish for their safety and that you can get life back to some semblance of normal and all that fun stuff. There's many, many good charities that you can support. If you would like to tie and get to video games, John Romero has released a new Doom pack that if you want to buy from John Romero, You can the money goes to charities to support Ukraine.
The Humble Bundle has a set of 120 games for $40 that all that money goes to Ukraine.
Yes, those many good charities that you can donate to. I very highly suggest that you try. Like I said, and just tying it to video games, you can get a bunch of good video games for 120 for $40, and you can also help out a cause that is very needed. So, to all Ukrainian listeners, please stay safe. Back to something less important than what's going on there. But maybe gotta take your mind off of things. This whole section ends in a really fun way when you beat Napoleon. He's like, Fred, congratulations! You finally are not a loser. But then he's like...
He doesn't even know he was, like, winning.
Yeah, Fred's kind of, like, just giving up. But, like, I love the fact... No, but towards the end, he jumps on board.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you have to go do the platforming section...
Oh, the platforming section.
To break the bridge down,
Yeah.
He's like, we can do this! Like, Fred gets motivated to take the charge, It's very fun. And I love the fact that Napoleon's like, I'm proud of you, Fred. You have proven you're not a failure. So I'm going to take a back seat now. I'm going to give you back your brain.
Like Napoleon was the one occupying his brain and was just like willingly give it to him back. This section did have my least favorite part in this entire section was climbing that stupid mill to get to the roof, to hop to the other roof, to get to the hay silo. I hated climbing that thing. That took me way too long to get up. And it might just be bad, and it might just be because dropping down to a ledge to climb it is very inconsistent and only works about half the time. And if you're getting knocked down or not levitating far enough and you have to do that again, you're going to fail it 1 out of 2 times.
Anytime you have to fall to get to something, it's very hit or miss.
I did not.
I agree with you there. That's a very problem area there.
I like that Napoleon blamed losing Waterloo to the fact he was sick that day.
Yeah, he's like, I had a tummy issue. Yeah, it was a bad day for me. I wasn't focused. And he's like, you'll learn about that. It's hereditary. Oh, yeah, I like that. That's funny. Couple of things also, just wrapping this thing up. We learned that Fred is actually the orderly.
Yeah.
And the guy guarding the tower is a patient who Fred lost to in a game of Waterloo, which is what triggered Fred's feelings of inadequacy with his family history.
He constantly loses a board game about war, so he thinks he's not capable of being Napoleon's great-great-grandson.
Yeah. Which, okay. I feel like Fred maybe was always teetering on the edge a little bit. But I do like that once you have completed this section, you get the straitjacket from Fred, you get the painting from Edgar, and you have the claw-looking part of the trophy from Gloria. Is it Gloria, the actress?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's you have enough to pass as the doctor to get into the tower. Also, Fred just pieces out and takes a nap. But once you get into the tower, Fred reclaims his spot as orderly. Mm-hmm. Fred's not so happy about being kicked out. This triggers a very long platforming section.
Where you're traveling up this tower, chasing the doctor's assistant, Shigor, which was a funny pun. My wife came in the room because she heard the annoying screeches of Shigor, and then when she found out her name was Shigor, she gave a chuckle and then left.
Shigor is not bad, but you know who's the true hero?
The turtle?
Whose name is Mr. Oh, did I not write it down? Oh,
I forgot the name
God.
of the turtle.
Mr. Puddle something?
Mr.
Poodle something? Oh, my God. So,
this is worth looking up. R.I.P. Turtle.
Please go look that up while I vamp. No, but basically what we learn is at the top of the tower, the doctor has successfully harnessed Sasha and Agent 9?
Mr. Pokelope.
Mr. Pokelope. He has our 2 instructors' brains in a jar. If we want to rescue Lily, we need to get those brains out so we can get Sasha and Agent 9. Is it 9?
Agent 9.
Yeah, 9.
Sasha 9.
Sasha 9. We have to get them to help us get Lily out. But, we can't do that. We got Mr. Pokeloop, who's in danger. So what we got to do is first get him out. And my favorite thing is, she's like, if we get him out, he'll tell us what to do. And
you're like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, and so you have to get him to come to the edge of the cage.
To use levitation to, like, slowly lift him up.
And you get him out, you take him in, and you hand her to her, and she's like, "What are we gonna do, Mr. Pokeloop?"
It's okay, baby doll.
No, but there's a pause. The pause is just long enough for you to be like, "That turtle ain't gonna say shit." And then all of a sudden, that turtle is the coolest motherfucker in the world. He's like, "Don't worry, baby doll, I got a plan." And it's like Mr. Pokeloop's cool as shit. So with the help of Mr. Pokeloop, we successfully overthrow the doctor. We kick him out of the tower, never to be seen again. We rescue Sasha 9 and, what's the lady's name?
Lily and,
oh, my Lord. I'm terrible with names if people ain't figured that out yet. The other lady. The lady who had the dance section. Or other agent whose name eludes me.
Is it Mia?
It might be Mia. If not, people will forgive us.
We'll say Mia.
No, people will never forgive us for anything, whether they Michael. No, but we successfully kick out the doc, and we have now claimed the brains. We get Lily out with the help of them, but sure enough, Coach Oleander shows up. We get one last true fight. Me and Raz and Lily are ready to help. But the instructors feel like it's too dangerous, so they send them away, and they go to war with Coach Oleander. Psychic war.
And then there's a domino effect of all the people leading to the the security guard throwing the Molotov cocktail, and it like starting to burn down the place. So there's like an elevated like tension of the place like on fire.
It's literally a very adventure gamey. This leads to this, that leads to this, that leads to this, that leads to this.
Crawler shows up.
Yes.
With the Titanium on his back so we can keep his mind whole.
It's pretty cool.
For the final fight. Oleander screams, "Ah, you tall people!"
Yes, yeah. He's very, very angry about the fact they're all tall. The big fight's happening. Raz and Lily are not really taking part into it. They beat the coach. But it's not actually him. It's a psychic projection of him.
Mm.
But then he does show up. But using the powder, they get him to sneeze his brain out. Correct?
Yeah, this is after you fight the tank. This
is what triggers the tank.
Yeah.
Because remember, they get him to sneeze his brain out, and they tell you, well, his brain's somewhere in the rubble. And that's when the tank pours up.
Right, okay.
So this triggers you fighting the tank in a big boss fight. Once you beat the tank, Raz gets ambushed with some sneezing powder himself, sneezes out his brain, which leads you to have to jump into the tank.
You have to use your brain, psychic power, to levitate the brain and throw yourself in the tank and basically meld your mind with Oleander.
Yes,
for the final level.
Which we meet little bitty Oleander. He's a happy little kid. He just loves bunnies. And you realize kind of what Coach Oleander's trauma is. You'd think it would be having been in like a bunch of wars.
Nope,
it's about these bunnies. His dad was a butcher.
And it blends with Raz's trauma, which is growing up in the circus, and they combine together into the meat circus.
God, is a terrifying environment.
Yeah.
My favorite thing is there's some really we do the bunny thing like 14 times where we have to save the bunny. We have to get the bunny, hold the bunny with telekinesis.
And it's an escort mission.
Yeah, it's rough. But really when things pick up is one, we have a boss fight with Oleander's father. A meat crazy clown butcher guy
who's trying to kill you and the rabbit and his son.
Yeah, he's psychotic. But one of the big things is you have to the game kind of hits crosses. This is how they're perceived.
Yeah,
because after defeating the coach's father, Raz's dad shows up, and he hates Raz because he's a psychic. He hates. He wants to prove Raz is a failure. He's everything that how Raz views as his dad.
He brings up the water curse again, so he's making you be like, well, let's see if you can at least do these trapeze still. So he's raising the water level as you're doing this string of platforming challenges to get to the highest
top,
point.
Yeah. And this triggers eventually a boss fight in which you fight Raz's dad and the coach.
They morph together. Not morph together. Yeah,
before that, this three-part boss fight.
Yeah, because this is the bit where he's throwing the jacks while the butcher dad is running at you with the flaming butcher tools.
Yeah,
which is
big intense. This is an intense boss fight. It's a good boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
But surprise, surprise, we keep hearing a ghost in our mind.
Rasputin in the background of this entire level.
And I thought that it was one of the Psychonauts trying to get to us, get through to us.
Like Sasha 9 trying to break into the brain.
But instead, surprise, surprise, Raz's dad shows up.
His real dad!
And he's completely different than Raz's perception of him.
But he's familiar enough to where we recognize him immediately.
Yeah, he's not an evil version of what Raz's perception of his dad is. And he breaks through to Raz, because we've got hints that Raz even says, I think my dad might be psychic too. But when he breaks through to Raz, he helps Raz defeat a melded version of Oleander and Raz's dad, evil psychic monster version. And he does so because he's trying to help Raz separate his mind from Coach Oleander.
Yeah, he navigated the astral plane trying to find his son who had run away. And in doing that, realizes that he kind of lost the connection with his son. Yeah. Too. So it's them bonding again is a really great moment.
And also I like the fact that his dad is not as evil as Raz's perception is. That's a very kid thing, right? Yeah, Raz is like, my dad hates me and he's this, and this. But then when you actually meet his dad's not that kind of things. It's a kid's perception of his dad when he's having problems with his parents, you know? Mm-hmm. And it's a really cool moment where they rebond together to try to take on this big monster threat, you know? And it's a chance for his dad and him to reconcile, for them to reconcile. After defeating Super Boss, his dad and him have a conversation, and basically they successfully get Oleander and his mind separated. And one of my favorite things here is, after the success of that, Coach Oleander doesn't get punished and sent to jail. He's mentally set correct. So he basically launches a massive presentation to explain to all the kids why he's okay now and apologize.
A formal apology.
Yeah, but it's such a nice difference in just he's punished. No, he's helped instead. Instead of the bad guy being punished, he's got help. This leads to Raz being promoted to an actual Psychonaut. Big moment. Mm-hmm. He's reconciled with his dad. Things are moving good for Raz. One last thing to do for any true hero. As the day's moving on, he's going home with his dad. Him and Lily have a conversation.
She's like, I gotta move back to the East Coast.
Yeah. Raz's family obviously moves around a bunch, but they get that last kiss. The game looks like it's about to be over.
But wait.
Ba-da-da! Lily's father, who is the executive head of the Psychonauts,
has been kidnapped.
Kidnapped. And unfortunately, because he's been too far away from all the material that keeps him sane, the head of the Psychonaut team he's no longer in it. He's reverted back to being a coach, cook or whatever, a camp cook. So they got to take the Psychonaut jet, and they need their number one kidnapper expert in Raz. So Raz goes off, talks to his dad. Dad goes, I've taught you everything that I could. It's time for you to go show him what you got. And Raz, with the blessing of his father, gets to go off
They board
be
the
a
jet,
Psychonaut.
and then they go to the next adventure to save the day.
Never to be seen for another 10 years.
Which was a very, I put down, this is a very Saturday morning cartoon ending. Like, a see you next time, which I really like this ending. Like, if they left here, I would have been like, cool if they make another one. But I like that ending. Just like, we're going to just go off, and it's implied we're going to have, like, adventures. Like,
and Raz is going to go be a Psychonaut.
yes. So I did watch the trailer the story trailer for Psychonauts 2. And man, I really want to play Psychonauts 2.
No, I mean...
Because it was like the story picks up immediately after the first game.
Oh, that's cool.
Where you are doing that mission to go and save Lily's dad.
Cool.
They even say, like, you go to the headquarters and one person's like, it's not like the summer camp anymore.
Oh, okay.
And there's bits in that trailer where, like, Raz's circus family shows up to help him out in some parts, and some of the levels look wacky and creative. The trailer I watched was at 60 frames a second, which looks really nice, which has me going, I don't want to play this on the Xbox One on Game Pass. I might actually buy it on my next-gen system. Oh no, this is bad.
I got the Xbox Series X, man.
I went ahead and wishlisted it, even though it's on Game Pass. I'm like, I want to play this.
No, I'll play it
because the art style goes even more into that like claymation aspect where it looks really beautiful.
Yeah.
So even though this one has its rough edges, especially, I really want to see what a sequel, and especially since the sequel is high regard, not just like looking back on it in like a nostalgic, retrospective sort of way, but as a 2021 game, this is one of the best games that came out this year way. I really want to check it out.
No, I think I would like to play it eventually.
I don't know if we'll want to play it for the show or not, but that's something we'll have to talk about later on.
That's getting into behind the scenes baseball.
Behind the scenes baseball.
Yeah.
That's that phrase.
Yeah, that's that phrase. What is it?
I'm
tired, man.
I do want to bring up the credits because like it recontextualized a lot of stuff. Like the meat flowers at the beginning showing up in like Lily's nightmares was like teasing like Coach Oleander's backgrounds and everything. And there's also like the fact that you're chasing bunnies at the beginning of the game. There's bunnies in like the war environment, and there's a bit where at the beginning where you're finding Lobato's plan the first time, you're following a rabbit to it.
Yeah.
But the rabbit's
it shows like little things that bleed into Coach Ole's psyche.
Which has me wondering how much other hints there are for the rest of this game hidden throughout the game. Because I wonder, we do hear mention that Raz's father is kind of tracking him and watching him as it goes along. I wonder if there's places you can like see him somewhere. I don't know. I feel like this game would play well on a second playthrough after like knowing some of the like more obscure elements to it. Maybe
like a new game plus mode where you don't have to do all the maybe hunting for freaking
arrowheads.
Yeah. No, I really like. I agree. I really enjoyed this game.
Once we get into especially talking about it and talked about like more of the stuff we loved, it makes me appreciate.
Yeah, it's a damn good video game. It just has some weird choices that makes it. It has some choices where it's just like, why are we doing this again?
It's one of those situations like the higher you are, when something knocks you to the bottom, it's gonna hurt. The fall's gonna hurt more.
Yeah, if you're really having a good time and you're really enjoying the environment you're in, and then it's just making it monotonous, it feels worse than when you're like at a 5 out of 10. And it's like, well, of course it's monotonous. This game is monotonous. But here it's like, I'm enjoying these moments. The high points are so high. And then it's like, man, but I took a big old dip right here.
It's like a less extreme roller coaster than like a Sonic Adventure.
Way less. Do not insult Psychonauts.
There is some grinding and jumping between rails.
But it's not nearly as bad. Do not enjoy.
I had to relate the two. I'm sorry. But it has me wondering, so as we talked about in the last part of Control where we were setting up this, we talked about how there was contention between Microsoft's playtesters and Double Fine's development team. Because they're like, you probably need to change this. And then their development team was like, everything's fine. We don't need to change anything. So I'm wondering what is the stuff they did have contention with? Was it something that didn't necessarily need to be changed? Or was it stuff like, this arrowhead hunt is not fun. Maybe you should grind that down a little bit. But then they're like, oh no, but then our game will only be 7 hours instead of 8 hours, which means we'll get this review score, which means we don't get our bonuses.
I do remember that, like, you do have to take into consideration, there was a point in time when length of game was a big damn deal.
Yes.
Like, I remember reading EGM reviews back when EGM used to run 3 separate reviews for, like, each game, which is insane to think about. That magazine's review section was every game got 3 reviews. Even if it was the shittiest game in the world, it got 3 reviews. And, like, the big games got, like, 5. Like, I remember an issue that had the review for Metal Gear Solid 3, Halo 2, Metroid Prime, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and each one of those games got 5 reviews. But they also used to publish, like, average playtime in part of those reviews, and you would get docked if the game was too short. So I do try to remember that, well, they might have been in a situation where, you know, they were going to get docked in the reviews for only having a 7-hour game. And so I was trying to remember that, but then at the same time, we try to judge games in this, on a way we do this, on the way they are playing at this time. So I was trying to be a little bit fair to it. I would love to see what the notes were that Microsoft playtesters had.
I don't know if those are out there somewhere. They're probably long gone.
Yeah, probably long gone. But I wonder what, and I'm sure it's a mixture of I'm sure the truth and the perfect scenario is in the middle somewhere. Because I'm sure Microsoft also probably wanted to pull some stuff that was actually the right call. Like,
you can't mention suicide in this platformer.
Yeah, like they might have wanted to get rid of the kid blowing herself up after being a sniper. You know, you don't know. I think all in all, this is still a very good game. I understand the cult like love of it,
especially if you played this like in the time, especially like in the early 2010s on like your computer and going, wow, no one's talking about this. But we're in an era now where Psychonauts has finally got its due diligence. It's still a cult classic, but it's not that hidden gem anymore.
It's not the game that like 1 out of your 10 friends played. It's the game that maybe 5 out of your 10 friends played.
Yeah,
you know?
Or at least are aware.
Aware of it. Yeah, I mean, I feel like I said, I do think it's deserving of some of its hype.
I'm glad a game like this finally got to come up. It's in a sequel that looks like a lot of fun that I really want to play.
Yeah.
So,
and it's kind of the reason why we do this show is these kind of games, you know.
This was absolutely worth playing. I'm glad we played this game for the show.
You know what we should do? Play a different game.
Keep the train rolling.
Keep that train rolling. It's Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. It's time
to
trying to build towards next one, everybody.
We've reached our wrestling quota this podcast.
You don't want to talk about whether Cody's going to be? I ain't gonna lie.
I do not want to talk about where Cody's going to be.
I've not been looking at my phone, but I really want to know if fucking Cody's on Raw right now. Because you guys don't know this, but right now, I want to know if Cody's on Raw right now.
Well, now they know it because you're talking about it.
Fuck.
Right.
Somewhere right now, his theme song, Adrenaline in My Soul, whatever that song is, it just says Cody Rhodes.
So our next game.
Yeah. By the way, there's a wrestling RPG coming out set around Macho Man Randy Savage.
Wait,
did
what?
you see this?
No,
I put
I
it
did
in
not.
the Discord.
I must have
It
missed
is
this.
a turn-based RPG in which you play as Macho Man Randy Savage.
Okay, yeah, okay, you got me. All right, I'll play that.
Yes, you play as the Macho Man. I was very excited. It's got pixel art. It looks very cool. Final Fantasy, but as Macho Man.
Is he trying to take down Chaos?
No, he's trying to take down Hulk Hogan.
That's probably worse.
He's real pissed off at Hulk Hogan getting the eyes on Miss Elizabeth. Don't you know anything about the Macho Man? Because the cream rises to the top, Michael.
Hey,
and I am the cream of the crop. He did a whole promo about the like a creamal. And it is fascinating. You want to watch like professional wrestling greatness. Watch the Macho Man talk about he's got a little bit of creamal. Like a coffee creamal. He's just like, the cream. Ooh, yeah. The cream of the crop. It rises to the top.
I need to find
I, Hulk Hogan, I am the cream of the crop. It's so good.
Anyway.
It's so good. The Macho Man was way before his time. Macho Man versus Steamboat. Still one of the amazing best matches. Love that match. But let's talk about the video game. We are going to be playing Half-Life 2. I am so fucking excited. I am the shooter fan of all of us. I love Half-Life 2. You have not finished Half-Life 2. You've
I
not played that much.
probably an hour and then went to play Portal again on the orange box when I got this.
So we are playing Half-Life 2.
I'm excited to play this for real for the first time because
yes.
that's not really my playtime doesn't really count.
Yeah, it's I've played through Half-Life 2 maybe 2 to 3 times. I would say this: I am not a guy who loves the first Half-Life. I've played it. I thought it was good. It's by far not one of my favorite shooters.
Did you play it after 2?
No.
Or before? No.
Played it before. Played it before. Don't know. Yeah, I played it before. 2 I did not play until the orange box came out.
That seems to be like, from what I understand, that was where like a lot of people I knew started getting really into Half-Life.
If you were not a PC guy, that was the
Orange
way
box,
to.
yep.
Yeah, and the orange box also was just a hell of a deal. I'm gonna be digging my copy out because I'm in the process of packing to move and buy a house, so I gotta rip a box open and go find that copy of Orange Box. But I bought that thing on opening day, and the value of that game is still insane to me. Because, you know, it was Team Fortress 2, it was Portal, Half-Life 2, Half-Life Episode 1, and Half-Life Episode 2. Insane value. But I am so excited about Half-Life 2. I'm excited for you to play through it. It's a game that I think ages really well. I have a lot of moments that I remember in that game from, playing through it. I can just tell you kind of like that just pop into my head. If you tell me, like, think about Half-Life 2, I can kind of just start naming things off. And I think it's going to be really, really cool to play a shooter like this. It's right up my alley. It's my genre.
I played all the Valve games that came out around this time except for Half-Life 2. Having a PC having a Mac on Steam with Source Engine worked really well on Mac. I played Left 4 Dead 1, Left 4 Dead 2, Portal, and Team Fortress 2. I did not touch Half-Life because this just seems like a shooter. Okay, cool.
I was a super Team Fortress 2 guy when it first came out. I got pretty high up on those leaderboards. Mm-hmm. And I had a crew of people that I had met over Team Fortress 2 that we played like almost every night for a while. It was a big deal. Scout player, played as a scout. Always liked bonking people in the head with a baseball bat. That game is unrecognizable to me now. I don't fucking recognize that game at all.
Oh, that's crazy. Really?
Yeah, because it's now got hats and all weapon changes. Because when I first played it, it was like there was no weapon changing for the classes or anything like that. And then they started adding weapon changes and hats and all that shit. I don't fucking know what's going on in Team Fortress 2 now. Oh, but I was really into it when it came out.
I got some info wrong. I was playing on a PC laptop before I got my Mac.
Okay.
So I don't know if Source Engine actually runs on Mac. So.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
Correction is done.
Yeah, correction done. Anyway.
Half-Life 2.
Here's some prep for Half-Life 2. There's a lot of it. Turns out I did not know about the development of Half-Life 2, and I learned a lot going into this development. So, Half-Life 2 is a first-person shooter game by Valve. Development for Half-Life 2 began shortly after the release of the first game in 1999. From the outset, Half-Life 2 was set to be a more expansive game than the original. Instead of being set entirely in one location, the game was going to be a global adventure. Valve's signature Source Engine was developed alongside Half-Life 2. The Source Engine was an upgrade of the Gold Source engine from Half-Life 1, which originated as a Quake engine modification.
Yeah, because if you play like original Team Fortress, you ever play original Team Fortress?
No.
It basically plays like Quake.
Gotcha.
And like it's crazy to think how much like Counter-Strike comes from that. Team Fortress comes from that. Like, somehow down the line, I think Day of Defeat comes from that. I don't know. It's crazy.
The Source Engine was created in a way to be easily upgradable, in that different aspects of the engine itself could be upgraded independently. It was the choice engine for a countless amount of mods for more than a decade. Half-Life 2's development was meticulous, epitomized by a famous quote from Valve president Gabe Newell. Why spend 4 years of your life building something that isn't innovative and is basically pointless? If Half-Life 2 isn't viewed as the best PC game of all time, it's going to completely bum out most of the guys on the team. Half-Life 2 was officially announced at E3 2003, where it was awarded Game of the Show. There, the game was given a release date, September 30th, 2003.
The best laid plans.
And this is where I will recommend, in the description right now, there is a link to an article from Jeff Keighley called The Final Hours of Half-Life 2. It is an incredible read that delves into stuff I do not have time to get into here.
It delves into like the hacking incident.
Yeah,
in which someone successfully hacked into their servers and got the whole game. It deals with...
I'm going to touch on some of that stuff, but
Yeah.
if you're interested in that development, read it. I'm going to hit some of the highlights here. So after E3, it became clear that the game was way behind on development in order to release in September. One example was that in order for it to ship in September, all of the dialogue had to be sent to localizers. However, the dialogue was not finished yet, so the process could not be started. One option brought to the table was just to cut the game in half, and then they might make the release date on time. In July, the game's publisher Vivendi Universal sent a notice to retailers that the game was moved to holiday 2003. Gabe responded to questions about this was, first time I've heard of it. Valve continued to push the September 30th date all the way through August. On September 18th, a fan visited Valve headquarters and asked a question about the September 30th date. The September 30th date. The response he got was, "We'll see."
Valve has never gave a fuck. Gabe Newell don't give a fuck.
Valve finally released a statement on September 23rd, 1 week before the game was going to be released, that the game was pushed back.
We talked about teasing the listeners. Valve is straight up into like that's not even a tease.
You can't do that anymore. You can't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's just it's just imagine the balls.
Because I think a week out is usually when pre-orders will charge your card now. So imagine getting your card charged for a game and then that game just getting the boot for... I'm not even there yet. So that same month, the entire source code of Half-Life 2 was stolen and was later leaked online. A playable version of the game was eventually compiled, which revealed how far away Valve was from finishing the game. Morale at the studio plummeted.
Because also around that time, people went into panic mode. Because people were playing that put together halfway finished mode, thinking it was close to the completed game. Because clearly they almost released the damn thing, didn't they? And
like, this is 2 weeks away from release.
People were like, this is the worst game ever. Valve has betrayed us. All is lost.
Gabe Newell invited the hacker to a fake phone job interview, planning to get a taped conversation for the FBI. The conversation was turned over to the German police, who arrested him.
You looked at me like I was going to say something. Reality is stranger than fiction.
In March 2004, the game was finally fully playable in an alpha state. Then cue months of refinements, bug fixing, crunch, and polishing. Half-Life 2 was finally released on September 16, 2004, and to this day is hailed as one of the best first-person shooters of all time. The game is playable on Windows, Steam Deck now, hey, if you have one of those, original Xbox, all other Xbox platforms as a part of the Orange Box, PS3, Mac, Linux, and Android. Our stopping point will be the game's first half. This will be a two-parter, and we will stop at the beginning of the chapter, The Sandtraps. There will be a chapter text on screen when you enter that chapter.
It's a pretty, it's well defined. I will tell people this as like the shooter guy. Half-Life 2 is a great shooter. It does not feel the way shooters feel now. It's going to have a different feel to it. It's not going to have some of the Call of Duty things. You're not going to be aiming down sights, stuff like that. It's going to feel more of a in line with like the Doom 3, Quake 4s of the world kind of style of shooting. Let's try to.
These were developed around the same time as
Yes.
like a Doom 3.
Yeah, so it's going to feel a little bit different. Also, they're going to lean heavily into those physics that don't feel the same as they did at the time. At the time, there is an entire section which you will get a weapon called the gravity gun. This is not a spoiler because it's the year 2022. And that entire section is dedicated to you playing with physics. At the time, that shit felt amazing. It's not going to feel the same today. But do try to put your mindset into 2004 and be like, look at me grabbing stuff off of shelves and throwing them at shit. Like, it felt pretty damn good. I am very much looking forward to playing Half-Life 2. Alex is a character that I've always really liked. One day I will play Half-Life Alex, but I don't have VR.
One day it'll be easily accessible. It probably already is, but you're currently looking for a house, so VR not high up on the priority chain.
Yeah, let's just find a place to play video games in first.
But yeah, reading about this development was insane, especially check out the article if you have the time. NoClip has an excellent documentary, a 2-hour documentary on the Half-Life series. I don't know if it spoils the game, but that might be worth.
I mean, it runs off the assumption you played them.
Okay.
They also just released a documentary on Black Mesa, which is the fan project. There was an upgrade or update of Half-Life 1.
And then there's also Half-Life Source, an official re-release of Half-Life in the Source engine.
Yeah. Both of which are very interesting to look into. That Black Mesa documentary by NoClip is very good. It's worth watching. I don't have the love affair of Half-Life 1 that I do with 2. It's a good game. I didn't play... Like, I played Episode 1. I played Episode 2. I think the only Half-Life expansion I ever played was maybe Opposing Force. I did not play Blue Shift, which I want to say is both Opposing Force and Blue Shift were made by the slimy Randy Pitchford. Yeah. You know, that little guy, little Randy Pitchford, hopping in there.
Still on the Borderlands set.
Yeah, still there, probably doing all sorts of slimy stuff. If you don't know, I highly suggest the YouTube or Civi11. And his feelings on Randy Pitchford has just like every time I see that guy, I just think about his little rant on Randy Pitchford where he's just like, you slimy little fucker. Civi11, very good. Support him on Patreon for $1. You can get all his stuff weeks early, and he just wants $1. Give him $1. But I think playing up through Sandtraps, Half-Life 2, damn good video game. We're gonna have a ball. I'm looking forward, Michael, to see how you enjoy it.
I'm excited.
Yeah. As always, you can follow us at State of the Save on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Send your emails to stateofthesave@gmail.com. And we have some cool stuff coming up at the end of this month. Maybe do some stuff with these TV shows coming out that we might want to talk about. Send in your ideas. Let us know what you want to see so we can provide more content that you like. Thank you, and have a great day. Stay safe out there.